Shalom and Chag Sameach from Israel. We are a day before Chag Shavuot, and I want to tell you about a special tradition that every year it becomes more and more common in the Jewish world, and we call it Tikkun Leil Shavuot. Tikkun means repair. We have to repair something because something is wrong. And the tradition is to sit all night together as a community, to learn to daven Tehillim, and in some communities, especially the Sfaradim, they read each part of the books of the Torah and the Oral Torah, a piece from each book. And this is how we prepare ourselves to the Vatikin, the Tefillah, very early in the morning, and then we go to sleep. Why? And when did it start? Well, it started 500 years ago when the Jews exiled from Spain and spread all over Europe. Some, very few, they felt that this is about time, redemption, and they came back to the land of Eretz Israel. They lived in the Galil, in Tzfat. The most famous rabbi of that time, it was Rabbi Yosef Karo and Ha'ari, and they established the learning of Kabbalah, and then they started this tradition, and they wrote what is exactly the things you have to say, and what is the idea. The idea is that even though that years ago, before receiving the Torah in the desert, Moshe came and told to the children of Israel, would you do it? Do you want to have a brit, a covenant with Hashem? And they all said, Naaseh v'nishma. First, they said, we will do everything needs, and then we will listen. How? Why? So, what can be great than that? This is a real covenant. You do and you don't ask. It means that you have faith. You trust Hashem, that its guidance is fit to your soul. So why do you have to make a tikkun to repair what is to repair? So we know the story that even though that they were all standing there in Mount Sinai, and they received and they heard in their voice the 10 commandments. Later on, when Moshe left to hear all the details of the Torah, they made a golden calf. How come? Just the day before you said Naaseh v'nishma, and now you're dancing around the golden calf? So we understand that even though in some times of the nations, or in every person's life, he knows it, that he sees the lights and he says, okay, I'm willing to make a change, I'm going to change my whole life. Then he goes to sleep and he wakes up in the morning and he's going back to his habits, what he's used to. So the covenant is missing. So even though the promises of the prophecies, Yirmiyahu Navi, he speaks about the new covenant, Brit Chadasha, and he tells us that one day, not like the old covenant, in the new covenant, the Torah will be written in your heart. It will be so smoothly, fluently with your life, like you don't ask whether to eat or not. You feel it in your body, in your feelings, in your mind, that you need to eat. This is how the new covenant with the Torah will be in the future. But this is not how it was at the beginning. At the beginning, it was a miracle. Suddenly the soul saw, hear, and according to the soul, the neshama, we said Naaseh v'nishma. but our mind was not there. Our feeling was not there. The body was not there. So all the years between the old covenant and the new covenant, we have to make tikkun, to repair, to build our vessel, to get the light. And this is why it becomes more and more important to the Jewish life 500 years ago. After so many years in the Galut, in this Apora, those who understood that now it's time to build the last time, the vessel, the land of Eretz Israel, the nationality, the person, to take all the circuits of the Torah, the Kabbalah, and to write it down and to teach the people the heart, the feelings, the mind of the Torah, not only to say, Naso v'nishma, and then to do what you used to do. So it becomes more and more common. This is the tradition. And I hope that everyone who listened to this have a place to make his own tikkun with his own family, community. And it doesn't matter how you do the tikkun. If you read the Psalms, if you learn Torah, if you hear lessons, we are all doing the same. We are building our hearts for the new covenant with the Torah. Chag Sameach from Israel.